Hey guys, Karibo Bros here. We've got our first deck profile with the new Battle City box. So obviously we've got a new skill for both Slife the Sky Dragon and Obelisk the Tormentor. Giving them a quick read over the Obelisk skill is actually fairly decent. It's a quick way to search Obelisk, meaning you don't need to play more than one copy in the deck. Whereas the Slifer skill is, although it lets you draw to 4 cards, you've still got to get Slifer onto that board. And I think that's going to be a lot less consistent. If that Slifer skill let you search Slifer, we could play a very similar deck to this, and the skill would be a lot better. So we're going to go into the deck, and we'll go over the skill, obviously. So it's no monster, it's a god. Now, is that not the line from the Dark Side of Dimension film? It is, yeah. So the continuity doesn't quite work out there, but anyway. The skill reads, activate the skill.
It's an anime, Gordon.
It's an anime, yeah. Activate the skill during your main phase. Discard any number of cards, minimum 1, then add 1 Obelisk to the Tormentor from your deck to your hand. This skill can only be used once per duel. Well, we only want to use it once per duel because we're only going to summon 1 Obelisk. It's a 3-card tribute. This deck it's like the One Punch Man. Yeah, is that like, I guess that's like kind of correct. Yeah, One Punch Man. You're going to summon out Obelisk and you're going to hope your opponent doesn't get over Obelisk, and you're hopefully going to win it in the turn after you summon Obelisk.
And Obelisk attacks with a punch.
Obelisk attacks with a punch. Right. Obelisk is also the best god card. And why is Obelisk the best god card, you may ask?
In Speed Duel.
Well, okay, yeah. In common Speed Duel, Obelisk is the best god card. Now, why is Obelisk the best god card? Because when this card is normal summoned, cards and effects cannot be activated. Your opponent cannot Floodgate Trap Hole this card, and they cannot Book of Moon this card because this card can also not be targeted by your opponent's card effects. We also have the second effect for this card, which will come up every now and then, but you're more than likely not going to use it. This is just a 4K body that can't be targeted, which is very good in Speed Duel. So anyway, the second effect is you can tribute 2 monsters, destroy all monsters your opponents control. But this card cannot declare an attack that turn. So even if you do that, you can't punch the game. So we got the 1 copy of the big god himself. Now, to get 3 monsters on the board, we're going to play 3 copies of Giant Wrath. We're going to set this, and we're going to float. We're just going to float. So our opponent's going to kill it, and we're just going to hope, and we're going to float, and we're going to float again. They're just hopefully not going to get 4 attacks in their first go. So we've got 3 copies of Giant Rat. 3 copies of Fiend Sanctuary, special summon 1 Metal Fiend token, Fiend Dark level 1, attack and defense 0. It cannot attack. Your opponent takes any battle damage you would have taken from battles involving this card, so it's very similar to Amazon Swordswoman. Once per turn during your standby phase, pay 1,000 life points or destroy this card. Chances are we're just going to activate this card and tribute it off Obelisk anyway. And then we come on to like the main bulk part of the deck. We're just playing a lot of trap monsters. So these are 3 special summons in our turn. And if our opponent goes to attack us with something that's got less attack than this trap, well, one of the trap monsters we have, we'll just summon this out, and then they'll get the option to redirect the attack, but they won't because their monster's got less attack points. Obviously, not to mention, these trap monsters actually do have decent attack and defense stats. So this has got 1,600. We're probably going to special summon this in defense. The only problem is every trap monster in this game is still also treated as a trap card. So if your opponent does Cosmic Cyclone them, it's going to get banished even if you activate in response. But because we play so many, the chances are if our opponent opens 1 Cosmic Cyclone, we're still going to have 2 other trap monsters, or maybe a Fiend Sanctuary or a Giant Rat, so we can tribute in our next turn. 3 copies of another trap monster, Swamp Mirror. This one's pretty cool. I love playing this in Duel Links, actually. I play this as a one-off in Alistair. I play like Alistair Invoked Magician, sorry. So this monster, when you summon it, can be any attribute and any type. So obviously, in Duel Links, you can make it whatever attribute you want to go into whichever fusion monster you want in the extra deck. But it does have 1,800 attack. Again, makes it pretty cool. Like a nice little beat stick. 3 copies of Quantum Cat. Arguably the best trap monster in this deck, simply because let's get a good zoom on this. Anyway, arguably the best trap monster in this deck because it has 2,200 defense. So if you're playing against XYZ, for example, your opponent, well, actually no, XYZ would be a bad example because of the buff they get. But anyway, a lot of the time, your opponent might not get over this with 2,200 defense in the first turn. So again, they can just stop your opponent from attacking in the first turn. 2 copies of Machine King 3000 BC. This card does have a cool effect. It gives you an additional tribute summon of only machine monsters in your turn. So I don't know if you wanted to go like Jinzo Turbo, you could build a very similar deck to this with this card, but I don't think Jinzo is as prominent as it was when it first came out as a promo because we now have Book of Moon. So 2 copies of that, and lastly, to round off the 20 card deck, we also play 2 copies of Wabiku. Wabku's brilliant in this deck, so you take no battle damage and your monsters cannot be destroyed by battle this turn. I was debating whether to maybe take out Wabku, or another copy of Wabku, and just put in the third machine, King 3000 BC, but I don't know if it's just minor adjustments. As I say, this is a very one-punch deck. We played a few games earlier, didn't we, Joe? Against my Skull Servant deck, and Joe did manage on both occasions to summon the Obelisk on his second turn. And as I say, it's a 4000 beta that cannot be targeted. The benefit to that is, like, your opponent can't book it, Great Moth can't get over it, Blue Eyes White Dragon can't get over it. So, I mean, it's a very fun deck. I mean, whether or not it's like going to be the best, which I very much doubt, but it's a fun deck you can play if you want to play something fun, and if you just want to summon an Obelisk the Tormentor for the sake of it. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe.